The Summilux-TL 35mm f1.4 is often considered to be the best lens for the Leica CL camera. The company themselves describe it as a reference lens in the APS-C segment, a strong statement given the existing competition from Fujifilm, Sony and other players in the crop sensor camera market. Buying an APS-C lens in this price range can be disastrous for your bank account, so it's no wonder many are put off by the price barrier and forever wonder if they've made the right decision. But there are good reasons why this lens can be the right one for a Leica CL user, so today we are going to look at the 35TL in detail, how it can fit in your lens selection and why is it okay to pay the high price. It was announced in October 2015 when only the original Leica T was out on the market, and that heavily influenced how the 35TL was accepted by camera enthusiasts. Leica came out with a bold statement and claimed that the lens profile is superior to all comparable lenses in every respect. They even called it surprisingly compact, even though it completely overpowered the thin and light body of the Leica T. And it didn't help that the first reviews described its autofocus as slower than a seemingly inferior 23mm Summicron T. But as the name suggests, the 35TL was designed with future in mind, and a year after the Leica TL was announced, followed by TL2 and the CL. The camera's sensor megapixel count rose over the years from 16 to 24, which was not a problem for the Summilux-TL, and we can confidently assume the lens resolving power far exceeds current sensors. That is how Leica designed its whole range of L-mount lenses, including those for full frame. The lens is obviously not compact, and with 428 grams of weight and 77mm in length, makes a relatively light Leica CL suddenly quite heavy. Quite a surprise if you are used to, for example, the 23mm Summicron T. With the 35TL you will need additional grip, and the lens will still require a different way of holding the camera. The lens is big enough for you to hold the Leica CL in one hand and the lens in the other. Something I wouldn't always do with the Summicron. It feels solid, built from metal with a massive front glass element. The lens diameter is almost the same as its length, and it comes with a massive metal hood, which you will never use. Just look at it. Who wants to walk around with this? The 35TL is of course an autofocus lens, and on CL with the latest firmware the speed and accuracy are great. I can't think of a situation where it failed me. Focusing ring is nice and wide, it covers roughly half of the lens length and has a nice firm feeling when turning. As any modern lens, also the 35TL manual focusing is done through a focus-by-wire mechanism, which means that there is no real relation between the position of the focusing ring and the set focal distance. There's also an additional feature that the slower you turn the focusing ring, the less correction is applied to focus distance. That means, in theory, that you can focus very precisely by slowly turning the wheel and focus less precisely but very fast when you turn the ring fast. It sounds good in theory and it kind of works. Those tiny adjustments are very easy to achieve, but I practically don't use it and much prefer to work with this lens in autofocus mode. And you don't buy this lens to focus manually anyway, so that is okay, because the autofocus works perfectly. It's fast and reliable, even in dim light. Sharpness is excellent, even wide open, but that is what you expect from a lens of this price range. So there is no problem in shooting it wide open all the time. That is what you pay for with the 35TL anyway, the performance wide open. With a lot of f-stop comes the bokeh, which is smooth and lovely. Some even compare it to the M-mount 35mm f1.4 Summilux M lens. They say it's so close you should not bother adapting the manual focus lens and just use this one on your L-mount camera. But that is for another video, for the day in hopefully not so distant future when I'll be able to compare those lenses myself. If you have only the Leica CL or TL2 and need a fast 50mm equivalent lens with autofocus, this is your lens, if you can justify the expense. Because there is the Sigma 30mm f1.4. You will find a link to video about that one in the description, and if you have the CL or TL2 for the small size and low weight combined with high image quality, you probably want your camera to stay small and light. and the 35TL makes it bigger and heavier, by a significant margin. Although it's not really a problem after adding the grip to the CL. It kind of works, and over time this setup grew on me. It's a lens I put on the CL when I want to go out and be creative. I know I will get sharp images with beautiful rendering, smooth bokeh and Leica colors. And this is what it's all about. Yes, it's expensive, there are much cheaper alternatives, and if you are after a setup with 50mm equivalent focal length, you can choose the longer and complicated journey. Go through a lot of lenses with other systems, adapt Voigtlander, Zeiss and Leica M lenses on the CL, or simply get this beast of a lens and be done with it. Sometimes it's better to take the easy way. Go for the best and priciest, because then there are no questions, doubts and hesitation. No stone left unturned. And you can leave the gear chasing to others and focus on using it, because the creative process and experience is what actually matters. This is my reason for splashing cash on the 35mm Summilux-TL, but to be fair, I can also imagine myself living with a slightly inferior image quality in exchange for a smaller and lighter package. I'm imagining a 35mm f2 Summicron-TL, only a tiny bit wider, longer and heavier than the 20mm Summicron-T. Maybe Leica will bring us one in future, it's about time. In the meantime, check out this video about the cheaper lens alternative for your L-mount APS-C camera, the Sigma 30mm f1.4.